Hey everybody, Alex here from Turbo Zone. I'm here to talk to you about modern gaming. Something that I find really interesting is the development of modern gaming throughout the years. For example, I wasn't a huge fan of modern gaming last generation during the PS3, Xbox 360 generation. I did play those consoles. I did have some good experiences there. But overall, I was in this mentality that the generation just wasn't for me. And I like to watch the types of games that come out, and I'm really surprised with our current state of gaming, that there's such a wide variety of games that you can get and enjoy, no matter what type of gamer you are. For example, I think that there's a lot more to offer now for retro gamers, especially on the Switch. A console that I also was like a naysayer for towards the beginning. I really I guess my negative experiences with the Wii U, even though I liked some Wii U games, left me to feel a little sour towards Nintendo for a bit. So to see them trying like another tablet type thing kind of threw me off, and I wasn't really into it until I bought one and actually started playing it. Then like the genius of this thing really took off in my brain. And I'm really surprised by like how much this generation caters towards a gamer like me, a more retro style gamer. So I guess the point of this video is to offer a glimpse into what the modern generation of gaming, especially on the Switch for this video, can do for retro gamers. People that maybe love playing older consoles but have no interest in playing newer consoles. I think that this is an interesting idea. I might continue this down the road, maybe look at some more Switch games, maybe look at some PS4 games, or maybe like look at games for older consoles that modern gamers might enjoy. But for this one, I have picked out some games. I have a total of 8 that I'm going to show off, and then I have 3 guests also showing off 3 of their games, pick choices, and I think there's a lot to like here on the Switch. So I think we should get started. And what game should we start with? That's a good question. I'm gonna start with this one. So the first one that I'm gonna show off is the only one that technically isn't a newer generation game. It's a collection, and this is the Namco Museum Arcade Pack. This thing is really interesting to me because not only is it a release of the Namco Museum on Switch, it's also a release of a newer Pac-Man game, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Plus, which actually adds co-op over the PS4 version. A really interesting collection of games. I think the Namco Museum really sticks out here because they threw in a lot of games that I don't see them include on other collections. Sure, you got your Pac-Mans, your Dig Dugs, Galaga, but then they added like Tower of Daruga, Sky Kid, Rolling Thunder, fucking Splatterhouse. There's a lot of unique games here. They even include Pac-Man Versus, that weird link cable Pac-Man game for the GameCube that Miyamoto worked on. That's even here. If you have multiple Switch consoles to play with, you could do that. It's a really interesting idea. And on top of that, you get Championship 2, which I was a huge fan of Championship 2 when it came out on PS4. That's how I originally played it. This version, you get the main Championship 2 game along with an extra co-op mode, which you and a partner can play Pac-Man together. It's fast-paced. It's fun as hell. And I think overall, this is a really good value. Like, if you want some classic Namco and maybe like some games that are hard to find on other platforms like Splatterhouse, Take 4's Rolling Thunder, this is a really good pick here on Switch. Up next, I really wanted to try to stray away from showing a lot of Nintendo published games. I only have 2, I believe, in this whole package that I'm showing you. But this one, I think, really fit the mold for inclusion here. If you are a retro gamer, I promise you that Super Mario Maker 2 will have something for you. I know that there's a bit of a negative stigma when it comes to this game, mainly because of the idea of people making whatever they want and putting it up means that people are going to make some bullshit levels. It's going to happen. But there's honestly a lot to do here. There's a solid single player campaign with a lot of pre-made levels that might interest you. The idea of getting to make your own levels is genius. Like my favorite Mario game of the 2D variety is the original Mario Bros. Like the original Super Mario Bros. On NES, and I think the inclusion of that, along with the Mario 3 assets, the Mario World assets, really like appeal to somebody that loves the classic games. Like you can make new versions of like classic levels or make new ideas, and it's really creative. And I think overall this is a fantastic 2D Mario game. I don't see them returning to making their own original 2D Mario games, because like they're giving us the assets we need to make them ourselves. And if you grew up playing the original Mario games on the original consoles, this is probably a dream come true that you maybe haven't tried yet. So sure, you're gonna find some crap online, some like really unfair levels, but I think there are a lot of good levels too, and I think that this is a game that you should give a shot. Next up, I have something that is pretty obvious if you follow me or you follow the button mappers, and you should have saw this one coming. One of my favorite games of the last like 5 years, Sonic Mania. I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and while I do enjoy like the whole series, pretty much, like I mean, even the bad games, they're kind of enjoyable at points. I love the classic Sonic franchise, so getting a new classic Sonic game like this in the form of Mania is incredible. It's something that I did not really see coming when they first announced it. And this game really is like a love letter to the Genesis era of Sonic. It's something that it's hard to put into words how well it works. I mean, yeah, they do reuse a lot of previous levels, assets, and stuff, but like I think it really works for this game. I think what they did here was tremendous. Fantastic job, and I think that if they want to follow this one up, they should definitely think about making the next game, and whatever they're going to call the next classic Sonic game, if they're going to do that, making it comprised of more original levels, more original level themes, because the original levels that they do add in this game are fantastic, but the ideas that they also bring into the classic levels are also really new and interesting, and this game is just elevated above the rest of the Sonic library to being one of the best. I bought it twice here. I bought it first digitally on PS4, then I had to rebuy it physically, and I bought it on Switch because I was making the transition over to Switch at the time. And I think this is a no-brainer. If you love classic Sonic, this is the way to go, man. Alright, so this is one that I haven't put a lot of time into so far, but what I have played has really surprised me and really left me wanting more, and I am definitely going to keep playing it. This is Sparklight. Sorry, my case has a giant sticker. Damn it, GameStop. This is Sparklight, a really interesting game. I picked it up on a whim just because it looks really cute, and what it is, it's almost like a classic Zelda game. If you mix a classic Zelda game with a roguelite, like roguelike game, kind of like the Binding of Isaac, or the Enter the Gungeon, or one of those types of games where every time you return to the game it is randomized, but mix that with like a Link to the Past, and that's basically what this game is. I really like the art style. I really like the classic Zelda vibes that it gives me. And while I've only played a little ways in so far, this is one that I am going to keep playing. And I think that if you enjoy classic Zelda, you will enjoy Sparklight. Alright, this is one that I'm making some flack for, because it's not exactly a newer game, but it is the newest version of this game. This is Diablo III, the Eternal Collection. I love Diablo. I just finished my second run on the Switch version, and I am continuing to play this game and continuing to have fun. If you ever played Diablo before, which Diablo is a classic franchise, it is like a dungeon crawler RPG. for and you basically, it's just like classic story of good and evil. You are going through the different areas and dungeons, using whatever class hero you have to take down the enemies and getting new upgrades, getting new equipment. Like, it's really cool. This one actually has some Zelda stuff in it that really really adds to the game. I love playing as the Necromancer, and one of the things that like you can have in the game is a pet that follows you around, and I chose the Cuckoo from Zelda. So I am like this evil Necromancer character, like raising the dead, and like they're doing their bidding for me. And there's like this little chicken just hopping around, following me around. It's really funny. Fantastic game, great co-op game. This game is like infinitely replayable. There's so much to do in this game. This version has all the content. It's great to have here on the Switch because of the portability. Fantastic. I highly recommend Diablo 3 for any console, but especially for the Switch. All right, next one I can't hold up because I don't have a copy. Well, actually, you know what? I do have a copy. It's on the Wii U though. I don't have a Switch version. I have bought this game again on the Switch for reasons, and the reason is that it is a great game. This is Shovel Knight. I'm sure you've heard of Shovel Knight. It's a indie platformer in the style of like an NES game, kind of like Mega Man or something like that, DuckTales or whatever. It's kind of like those types of old NES games, but I think this one is really, really fully realized. I bought this originally on the Wii U when it came out, and that was like 2014 or something like that, and they just keep going. I think they finally finished all their updates, but they added like way more to this game for free over time that they really didn't need to do. Like, you get the main Shovel Knight campaign, you get 3 additional campaign with the 3 other characters. They added a party Smash Bros fighting game mode that's really fun. They have added amiibo support, which I have all the amiibos. They have added co-op. Like, this game went from being a pretty great throwback to like a fantastic game, and I think that if you have set out on it, set out on this game, maybe because it's I don't know, its popularity kind of turned you away, which I can totally understand. That happens a lot with me too. Whenever I hear about something too much, it kind of pushes me away. I think if you set out on this game, you should give it a chance, especially if you are a fan of that era of 2D platformers, because this game really does stand up to those classics. And I think the Shovel Knight is going to be one of those games that just is, not, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but it's definitely going to be a staple in gaming culture moving forward. It's a fantastic game. I absolutely love it. I would recommend buying the amiibos. They're super cool. I love the amiibos for this game, and that's why I wanted the Switch version and the Wii U version. Overall, was because of the support for the amiibos, even though that wasn't a thing whenever the Wii U version came out, but they added it over time. So I think that this is a great game on the Switch, great game to have portably, and a fantastic classic 2D platformer. Alright, so next is another Nintendo published title, and this one is also not considerably new. I think it came out in 2014 as well. But this is the newest update of that, and I think this is well worth your time if you are into just playing games. Well worth your time. This is Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, a great love letter to The Legend of Zelda. I'm a huge Zelda fan, and whenever this game came out on Wii U, I bought it day one. And whenever I got a Switch, I bought it day one. It's a game that has only gotten better over time. They've added so much to this game to make it well worth the money. So many characters, so many locations. And I know it's a Warriors game, but there's just something magical about it. They were able to meld those two franchises together so well. And I've played other Warriors games. Like, for example, I'm a big One Piece fan, so I play the One Piece Warriors games too. And while those games are a lot of fun, the Zelda one just does something really interesting with the concept of mashing warriors with Zelda. For example, the challenge map is there's multiple challenge maps in this version, but the first one is the first Legend of Zelda overworld. Really cool. You have to use items to uncover the missions and stuff. Really neat idea. I think that if you are maybe a fan of like the PS2 Warriors games, you might also get some enjoyment out of this one. But Zelda fans, this is definitely a big one. There's so many characters, there's so many missions, there's so much playtime in this game. I think the Wii U version, I think I put in over 70 something hours in that one. This one, I haven't gotten that far yet. I think I've only done like almost like 30 hours in this one. But I'm getting there. Fantastic game, totally replayable, has tons to do, has great co-op. It's a perfect shut off your brain and play type of game, and I think this really appeals to Zelda fans. So, Hyrule Warriors, everybody. Hey, before we go to my last game, I wanted to hand it off to three of my friends. So first up here we have Teddy from Majora. He's also one of my friends that do the Button Mappers with me. The Button Mappers is our podcast channel we do every single Monday. So I'm going to hand it over to Teddy. Teddy's going to tell me about a retro-inspired game that he enjoys.
Hey Alex, thanks for inviting me here today on TurboZone to talk about retro games on the Nintendo Switch. Now I know most people might be thinking of that NES and SNES subscription service. There's another game that might remind you of a certain gem in the past, aka a retro title. And that retro title is none other than F-Zero GX. What game could possibly live up to, or at least approach, the standards of perfection met and surpassed in this glorious title? Why, it's none other than Fast Racing RMX, available through the Nintendo eShop. Fast Racing RMX is an enhancement of Fast Racing Neo for the Wii U. It includes DLC that was included in the original title, as well as 6 additional tracks. There's 12 vehicles that you can use to do this futuristic racing. And I really love the gameplay and how similar it is to F-Zero GX. It really harkens back in things like the boost pads, the boost feature, the boost health bar, as well as these kind of mini Grand Prix. There's a total of 12 of them. And you really do get quite a lot of engagement as far as the gameplay. You have to be very mindful about either things like drifting or even the color-coded boost pads, so switching when you go onto the right ones. It may seem tacky, but all in all, it's not invasive on the core racing mechanics, and I think it really comes across beautifully. Even this stage right here harkens back to something like the windmill sections in Port City in F-Zero GX, and that's just one of several examples of the ways that this game pays tribute, but still kind of retains its own unique identity. I really look forward to doing a future video on the title, but for now, that's my retro game that you need to check out on the Switch. Alex, back to you.
Thank you, Teddy. That was awesome. Fantastic. I really need to try that game. I have not played that game yet, Fast RMX. I keep wanting to call it Fast Racing Neo because I called it that for the longest time, but it's Fast RMX. Looks fantastic. I love F-Zero, so I'd be really interested in trying that one out. Next up, we have the other host from Button Mappers, Spencer, here to talk about his pick. I don't want to say what it is because he'll say it. His pick.
Hey guys, it's Spencer from the Itch Network, and I'm here to talk about Golf Story. It's an RPG/golf game on the Nintendo Switch, and I think it's pretty darn good. It has a lot of retro-inspired graphics, as you can see, and it combines the classic RPG tropes of going on quests and upgrading and stats with golf, which is, the putting and the greens and the sand traps. You go on a long story where you grow as a golfer and become a pro and win tournaments. It's definitely a retro-inspired event, and it does everything that you would want from a classic golf game and from an RPG. It leans a little bit more heavily on the golf, which is not necessarily my strong suit, but it is still amazing, and especially if you like a game like Mario Golf on the Game Boy, or I'm more partial to a Kirby game, honestly, but that's besides the point. But overall, Golf Story is pretty amazing. And if you really want to scratch that retro itch, you could do way worse than Golf Story. I'm Spencer with the Itch Network, and thank you.
Thanks, Spence. I do actually have Golf Story, and I haven't played it yet. I bought it on sale because it looked really cool, and it was really cheap, and I wanted to get it while it was cheap. So I might actually need to pour some time into that. I like golf games, so maybe soon I'll give that one a go. Last and certainly not least, we have somebody that we have recorded a Butt Mapper episode with recently. It's not going to be up by the time you're watching this. It'll be up, I think, in the beginning of May. If you're watching this after May, go check out the episode he was on. This is VGMashUP. VGMashUP has a really cool, interesting YouTube channel where he does videos showcasing games, kind of like this, but I'm trying not to steal his idea too much here. So VGMashUP is going to be showing off a game. I'll hand it over to him.
Hey everybody, VGMashUP here. Now, you guys undoubtedly are enjoying a lot of content on your Nintendo Switch. However, maybe a lot of the modern games are just not cutting it for you. You want to relive the glory days of past, the games that you used to play on the NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, etc., etc. Well, the great news is that the Nintendo Switch can accommodate you with those feelings. You see, the Nintendo Switch has some great nostalgic platformers, and one of them that I would highly recommend you check out is none other than Owlboy. Now, just the developer of this game itself, D-Pad Productions, should tell you that this game is meant for those looking for old school nostalgia. What it is a vertical platformer with shooting elements, and the game screams 16-bit era. You see the graphics, as you can see in the screenshot behind me, are very nostalgic. Even the dialogue has that unique text sound when you're reading through the text, giving you that feeling of old school. The gameplay itself is a lot of fun, challenging at times, and really, really well-made title overall. I would highly recommend you check out Owlboy for the Nintendo Switch. Back to you, TurboZone.
Owlboy sounds great. I definitely have not played this one at all, so I would be really interested in trying it out. Thanks, VG. Thanks for thanks, Teddy. Thanks, Spencer. Thanks for sharing your games. And I hope everybody at home enjoyed the input of somebody who's not a rambling idiot like me. Speaking of me, though, there's one game on the Switch that I have put more time into than any other game. And while I absolutely love a ton of the games on Switch, there's one that the day it came out, it was a special day for me, and I had to scoop it up, and I haven't stopped playing it since. And that game is Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Honestly, I think while I enjoy Mario Kart 8, I would pick this game over Mario Kart 8. There's so much content here. For one, I'm a huge Crash fan. I love Crash Bandicoot. I've played those games. I've played all of those fucking games. I know more about that series than I really should. I absolutely love Crash Bandicoot. So to see the remake here add elements from the first Crash Team Racing and Crash Nitro Kart, along with a ton more. They've added a ton of free tracks, a ton of free characters. There's a ton to unlock. There's the story mode. There's the online mode. They've added gym challenges, ring challenges. There's so much to do in this game. It's insane. This should have been the insane package, not the insane trilogy. This game is well worth your money. I think the actual karting mechanics in this game are deeper than they have any right to be. It's fantastic. It's satisfying to play. I just can't get enough of this game, and that was one of our first Game Talk episodes on the Butt Mappers last year. Was I talked about Crash Team Racing, and that was a little while after it even came out. And the fact that it's been almost a full year now, and I'm still playing this game, even though they've stopped supporting it. They've put out all the extra content they're going to put out and stuff. The fact that I'm still playing it it really says something to the quality. Classic kart racing fans, this is a great one. I know Mario Kart 8 is tempting, and I do love that game too. That game is phenomenal. But I think this one just edges out in front of it. I think if you're a classic kart racing fan like I am, this one's going to give you more bang for your buck. It's going to give you more to do. It's going to give you it's just going to be a great time. So check out Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. And thanks for tuning in to this Turbo Zone video. I'm trying a new style here. I'm trying something different, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the games, what you think of this video, and if I should do more like this. I would be interested in doing other videos like this for other consoles or for the same consoles or whatever. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Hey geeks and gamers, TurboBot90013 here. Remember to subscribe to the Turbo Zone for more content. The Arcade Overlords thank you. Stay retro. Turbo Zone.